Hey, this is Jake Asman. You're checking out Drunk Sports Talk.
Once in a while, we talk Jets. We're gonna talk Giants end of the week. Kind of wanted to talk about them tonight, but we're kind of on the time limit tonight. Got about 20 minutes left, so we're gonna talk some Jets, man. Uh, I don't know. I don't know where to start with the Jets, man.
Nah, I know. Yeah, we miss you, Preem. Miss you, Jay.
Preem, my nigga,
Shout
what's
out
up,
to
my
Jay.
nigga? How you doing, my brother? I hope we talk, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Preem, Jay ain't on the show. Y'all know him as Jay. We know him as Preem. Shout out to Jay. Handle your business. Get back whenever you need to get back. Jets, man, we talked about abysmal. It might not get more abysmal than the fucking Jets, bro. Like Aaron Glenn. Ooh, this don't look good, brother. Aaron Glenn, this don't look good, my brother. I heard people on the radio and people, diehard Jets fans, and I watch Jets games, so I know what the fuck's going on. I'm not a Jets fan per se, although, I want them to win. We loyal to the soul. You know how we do in the show. But you're hearing shit come out of motherfuckers' mouths, pause like, this is the worst Jets team ever, worst Jets season ever, worse than Adam Gase. Adam Gase is low. And the Rich Kotite era, worse than Rich Cote. Yo, Rich Cote, my God. When you say Adam Gase and Rich Kotite, my nigga.
That's the low of the low, bro.
You're doing bad, bro.
Yeah.
You are doing bad. Where do you start, man? Out was Joe Douglas. Out was Robert Saleh. Out was that whole regime, And shout out to Robert Saleh because I know he's looking at us and feeling kind of vindicated because the 49ers are going to play the Eagles. I think the 49ers might beat the Eagles, and the 49ers defense is decent, and they've been banged up, but they decent. And Robert Saleh is a really good DC. I don't know if with the Jets, and I'm just freestyling. I'm not even going off. I usually have a script. I'm just top of the head bars, right? With the Jets, it's hard to gauge talent with the Jets, right? Robert Saleh, he's with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. They have that stout defense. He comes to the Jets, and the Jets defense looks inept at times. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't stop the run, different things. Kind of a mess with the head coaching. They fire him, gave him a couple seasons. They want to fire him in the middle of the season. They put Olbrich in there. Nothing really fucking changed. They promoted Olbrich from DC to HC. Nothing really changed. You got guys like Sam Darnold who come in here, and you're like, damn, Sam Darnold, man. Like I don't know. I don't. This guy's a high draft. Him and Baker Mayfield was the top three. They were top 3 picks or whatever it was. I think Saquon might have been 2, right? Am I bugging? I forget what it was that year.
No, Saquon
but
was
super high pick, top 3 pick, and you're like, damn, Sam Darnold, man, such a high pick. How did he fucking fall in his face so crazy? Then he goes to the 49ers for a second, I think, right? Did he go to 49ers? I think he went to the 49ers. Check that for me if you get him. I think he went to the 49ers. Then I think he went to the Vikings. Was it the 49ers?
I know he went to the Vikings.
I know he went to the Vikings. He went somewhere before he went to the Vikings. Where was that? Let's see if we can check that real quick.
Yeah, so because he was with the Jets, then he went to the Panthers for 2 years.
Sorry.
And Panthers, then he went to the 49ers, and then he went to the Vikings.
Oh, so he wasn't a 49ers. Okay, yeah. So Panthers, 49ers, then he kind of, there's still a little bit of whack juice on him at that point. Then he gets with Kevin Conley or whatever, and he looks good with the Vikings, and he kind of craps the bed end of the season in the playoffs and everything. And then he goes to Seattle, and he kind of builds off what he kind of did with the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? And the end of this chapter is yet to be told, but he looks good. And so you're like, damn, when he was on the Jets, he was trash. Well, Robert Saleh had difficulty on the thing. Aaron Glenn on Detroit looked like a competent DC. Then he gets to and the shit just falls apart. So you're like, how do you gauge? And even you can even go through some of the player personnel on the Jets. How do you gauge this shit? Like, I don't know. Like it's hard to gauge the Jets, man. It just seems like a dysfunctional, inept, fucking snake bitten fucking franchise. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, we'll
Yeah.
get more to that in a minute. Um, if there's a role for a get back with the Jets, to me, you know what I'm saying? For fuck championships out, just the fucking mediocrity and relevance. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they're fucking
That's
they've
what
been
they
bad for a
need.
long time. You know, so is the Giants. I'm not gonna shit on them, but it starts with the coaching, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta hold Aaron Glenn accountable. Now, everyone, if you look around in the media, right, and I'm a little saucy, and this is drunk sports talking. That's what we do. We get saucy. We talk sports, right? So fuck with me. Um, Everyone's calling for his job. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Q. I'm sure you have. You know
No,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Everyone's calling for his job. One and done. That's crazy. I'm not advocating for that, but I will say, my guy, you got to get this shit turned around because me and you had this talk with Preem a couple weeks ago. He was like,
Yeah.
"It's ridiculous. He's 1,000% coming back. Yeah, he's coming back, but he's on a short fucking leash next year. I promise you this. They pulled the
Yep.
plug on Salah. Now it was a couple more years into
Yeah.
it, but they pulled it in the middle of the season. Aaron Glenn, got to turn this thing around, brother. Don't come in. You know, he came in so bravado. Where the freaking chest? What is it? We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. The bravado and the peacocking and the flexing and the flossing.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, my guy. Then he started getting snippy with the media. Something Brian Dable did, but then Brian Dable calmed it down. You know what I'm saying? But these motherfuckers come in, and I respect Aaron Glenn. Real talk. These dudes come in and think they're Bill Parcells. They think they're fucking Bill Belichick. They think they're fucking, you know, that's their style. Belichick and Parcells. You know, I'm not telling you shit and saying slick shit to the media and being sarcastic. Man, my man, these niggas got rings upon rings upon rings. You know what I'm saying? You're not Andy Reid, my guy. You can't start showing your ass to the fucking media. This is New York City. This might work in Carolina or fucking
Yeah.
Arizona or somewhere, but this shit is New York. Niggas, the media will run you. The media will run you out of town. When I say that, that's not an exaggeration. The media will run you out the fuck out of town. So that's my thing with Aaron Glenn. Humble yourself, brother. Keep your head down. Don't say just produce, man. But like I said, starts with coaching. Got to bring in a competent DC, right? Get the defense back to where it needs to be. Coaching wise, player personnel wise, get that the Wilkes stink off you. This we hearing all these fire. These coaches got fired this week. Harbaugh got fired. Stefanski got fired.
Pete
So
Carroll.
right, Carroll. But in terms of the Jets universe, I think I seen an article today. It named Raheem Morris. You know what I'm saying, for DC. And I said to myself, Raheem Morris. I said, okay, DC, okay. He probably wants a head coaching job somewhere. I'm not sure he's gonna get it after what happened with Atlanta and shit. I'm not mad at that. He's not maybe as aggressive as I would like. Although, if you watch this year, he was a little bit more aggressive than he was in personal years. But I don't think he'll get a head coaching job, possibly the DC. But if I'm the Jets, I don't do that. You're hearing names like the Browns DC, Jim Schwartz. Browns, as wretched as they are, they seem to have a pretty good fucking defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did a good job there. You also hearing names like Jim Leonard, the Broncos DC. Or you're gonna hear all the big names of the really good defensive teams. You're gonna hear all those fucking names. Don't know if anyone wants to come to fucking Jets and to a dysfunctional franchise and put their name on the line and tarnish their name. You know what I'm saying? But you hear, like I said, you hear Jim Leonard, Broncos DC, Al Harris, another guy who did a pretty good job with Chicago on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? And then and a couple other names. And then you hear guys like, and you're gonna like this shit. There was a couple other names mentioned, but you're gonna hear you heard this name, and I said, damn, I want this motherfucker for the Giants. And me and you had to talk about this the other day. We want this motherfucker back. I heard the name Wink Martindale, former Giants DC, former linebacker coach for the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Currently at Michigan, who's doing a fucking fantastic job with that defense, man. He's an aggressive guy. He's innovative. He's no nonsense. I don't think there's going to be all the motherfucking penalties and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jets been having problems with the last couple of years. I would love to see him back in NY, preferably on the blue side. But if I'm the Jets, I definitely interview Wink Martindale. with that being said, we're gonna get into the things the Jets need to do. You want to primarily tackle the QB, I think QB situation, right? If you're the Jets, you're staring at the third pick, I believe, right? I think Mendoza probably be gone by that point. Probably going to go to Raiders. I think Tom Brady and them most likely going to bring in, Mendoza. But if you're the Jets, you're looking at maybe what's my man's name?
Dante Moore.
Dante Moore. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Spytek and Brady want more. We're not even sure if he declares. I think they're gonna bring in a Mendoza. But if you're the Jets, and we'll delve back and forth in it. What's the plan of attack in terms of QB and the rest of the team?
I think that's the route you have to go at this point, right? You need a franchise quarterback, and at this is going to be the only time that they're going to be able to do it. There's nobody really out there that's even available. Like, you're going to have to draft one, and and I don't want to shit on the Jets fans. I'm New York all the way, but it just looks like that's one of their biggest issues. Looks like they have a really hard system or problem. I don't know what it is, but they can't develop a quarterback for some reason. Like, they just can't. Like, their last franchise quarterback, franchise quarterback was fucking Joe Namath. In the last 10 years, they've had 11 quarterbacks. That means one of those years they had 2 starting quarterbacks. They had multiple quarterbacks, but they've had 10 different quarterbacks. The
decent quarterback was Sanchez, and we could talk about that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Sanchez, and that's crazy. The only other quarterback that played,
game manager, and they had a sick defense,
and he only played 3 years.
And Rex Ryan,
he only played 3 years, and then before that was maybe Chad Pennington. He played 6. But and even at that point, it wasn't ooh, wow.
I used to call him Noodle Arm, God.
You know what I mean? It was wow. And then, so they get Dante Moore, and now, you gotta dig a little bit deeper. Now their quarterback coach is Charles London. Are we gonna be able to trust this guy to develop? You know what I mean? This cat. You know what I mean? Right. The only dope dude that he's ever really coached was that really sticks out was I know there was Josh Rosen and Matt Ryan, but that was toward Matt Ryan's end of the tenure.
Yeah.
That's not even
real. But it was already who he was.
It was who is it? I know. Geno Smith. He had Geno Smith on the Seahawks. We saw what Geno turned into. He kind of shaped it around, which he used to play for the Jets as well.
When I brought up, Sam Darnold in the monologue. Hey, great fucking great take.
You know what I mean? And those are 2 people that as soon as they leave the Jets, they turn into different people. And then, we've had all these other guys, we tried the Joe
Zach up too. I
think
Zach could have been a good QB guy.
Yeah, Zach Wilson could have been a good QB, and then, we've had, you could go down to Trevor Simeons, and we even had Flacco in here at one point, but Flacco could play good for every other team as a backup.
But you don't got to develop these guys. Those guys are
I know. But I'm saying, that just goes to show you that even if they're already developed, they'll just come to the Jets, and then for some reason, it's just the quarterback room is just cursed. The Jets team is just cursed, and, but you got to be a little bit worried about what Charles London is going to be able to do with this quarterback that they're going to get, because they got to get whatever best quarterback is after Mendoza, and then they got to develop him, because that's the 2 most important things. You need a coach, you need a quarterback. The Giants are halfway there. Now we just need a coach. You know what I mean? We had a decent coach, but then we didn't have a quarterback. Then we got the quarterback, and then we saw the flaws of the coach. Yeah. So, if the Jets do that, then, they might turn things around. And they also need to create, what you said, get into mediocrity, but they need to create that winning culture. They've always had great talent on this team, but you could have talent. But if you have that loser mentality because you're always losing, that becomes the culture. All that talent's not going to outweigh all the other negative shit, and it's just whatever. People are just going to go there and play like a replacement, and then when they dip, you know what I mean? When they dip and they see what these other organizations are building and what their culture system looks like, and how these organizations, are building these players and surrounding them with the needs that they need to be better and play at their highest potential. The Jets doesn't look like the organization that's really doing that. They have a real big problem in that area, but hey, if they come back, get Dante Moore, and then you get the right defensive coordinator in there. I believe in Inkstrom. You know what I mean? Like I believe in what I believe. I don't think he's the worst. Don't think he's the best.
Yeah.
We got to see what he could do with whoever they get.
Yeah.
Like let's see, because they have
the jury's out of him, but I don't think he should get clipped. Yeah, but
and we got to see what they could do. But if they could just do those two good hires, and if the next quarterback that comes into this can win them 6-7 games, 8 games, you just look like, or even lose games, but in a nice fashion. Jets was just losing games and just looked abysmal. Like it was just like embarrassing. Like, and then they had talent, like they lose Sauce Gardner, they got rid of Quinnen Williams, they turned it around into a great move. Moogie did a good thing.
Yeah, Moogie did a good thing. I like Moogie.
Yeah, it turned into a shit ton of picks, and that's what you're going to do to develop the team, because not only do they need a quarterback, they need defensive backs, they need defensive linemen, maybe even another wide receiver, even though I like Mechie and Mitchell. But Mechie and Mitchell
but they need another guy.
What I mean? And then you got Garrett Wilson, I know he got hurt. The running back room is decent. Like, maybe get another offensive lineman. Their O-line not too great. So they need a lot of pieces, but they have a lot of picks. So right now, this is going to be the true testament of
they have no picks.
What?
0 picks and 4 forced fumbles. You feel me? That's just terrible, man. That's just. I think that's a.
It's the first time that a team had no interceptions since 1933.
And 4 forced turnovers. That's insane. That means your defense sucks.
I meant draft picks though, but
I know what you mean. I'm just
I know. He said no picks. Yo, that's.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's crazy. But that just goes to show, and hopefully they turn it around. But it definitely the head of the snake is always the quarter. A great quarterback can make a bad coach look good, right? But a good coach can't make a bad quarterback look good. In my opinion, he can't, because you still need that talent. You still you need to have that direction, because even when Dable looked at his best, Daniel Jones didn't look that great.
Yeah.
And then we saw what Jackson Dart looked like, and then now we started seeing what Dable was looking like, even at his greatest moment, and they still knew, like, Dable's just not that guy. And we're going to see where Aaron Glenn is, but he needs to be that defensive-minded coach. I'm almost starting to think that if they do get rid of him, they need to move to an offensive-minded coach, because you're getting in a quarterback, a young quarterback. If you go offensive-minded coach at this point, there's no better time than this time right now. In my opinion, because they're
nobody's
basically,
coming here, bro. Nobody's coming.
I know, but
nobody wants this fucking Jets job.
They got to work with what they got to work with. But right now, they need to get a quarterback. They need to develop that young gentleman.
Job.
You know what I mean? And just being and the Jets, it's not an appealing job. Maybe a couple years ago when their defense was ranked second, that's why Aaron Rodgers even wanted to come here. And look how he's doing. It's just like there's so many names that you could name that now are going other places, and you're actually seeing them shine. It makes you want to say, what's really wrong with this organization that these issues are occurring? And, could it be the owner? Like, is there an issue with the owner? Like, the owner doesn't, you know what I mean? Maybe
could there be? He's the fucking James Dolan of the old James Dolan of New York now, man.
I didn't want to say anything, because then it really sounds like I'm going to be sitting
what
on
is
the
terrible,
Jets.
man. Sell a fucking team, man. He's, you know what I mean? Shit.
No, yeah, but we'll see what they can do, because like this is going to be
Gilbert
his true
of
test.
fucking New York, nigga.
Yeah, it's gonna be his true testament right now.
Not Dan Gilbert. What's the dude? Dan Schneider. Sorry, Dan Schneider.
Yeah. But we'll see what they're gonna do with the quarterback that they do, and how they develop him. And if the tables may turn, but the tape, in my opinion, it has to turn for Aaron Glenn, because I don't see them. They're definitely not gonna have another season like they did this year, and have Aaron Glenn come back. That's not happening.
Ah, yeah, man. I nothing you said is bullshit. Yeah, nothing you said is bullshit. Let me pause. Let me touch the quarterback topic. Mendoza's not coming here. Raiders are gonna get Mendoza. I think Mendoza's gonna be really good. I don't know, for some reason I just feel like he just seems, the offense they run and just the way he's poised in the pocket. You never know, but it just, to me, seems like he's gonna be the guy. We'll see. Time will tell. Dante Moore. If Dante Moore, right, that's where logically, because the Jets have the third pick. I think the second pick is the Titans, right?
Yeah, Titans got the second pick.
Right. We know Titans not going for QB. So if Dante Moore does declare, and again, I'm not sure if he will, the Jets will be targeting him. And if I'm listen, if Dante Moore, if I'm Dante Moore, you think Dante Moore is thinking,
maybe I just stay in school.
Yeah, I could go. Listen, I could go back to school, probably make as much money on a NFL Jets rookie deal than I can with this NIL paper as I would. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could declare next year. Hopefully, the Jets might not have the first pick. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't have to go to this fucking shit show of a team. Who knows how he's thinking? But if he, we don't know how he's thinking. We know how this is going to shake out. But let's say he does declare, right? And you get him. And you get Dante Moore, right? And maybe he wasn't the guy you necessarily wanted. Or, this is weak. It looks like a very weak QB class. You know what I'm saying? But let's say he does declare, and you get him. Listen, if you don't pan out, Muji has set shit up where you have big time picks next year. You can always draft another quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like I said that shit about I'm not saying that Dart's not panning out, but we entertained the possibility, right? And I told you I was playing devil's advocate that time of drafting another QB. And motherfuckers thought I was crazy, and and maybe it was crazy, but you know what I'm saying. You could if this guy if you don't feel he's the guy, fuck waiting and waiting around and seeing what he is. Go, you got the draft assets and the capital to go get another guy next year. You know what I'm saying? So that's a plus. You know what I'm saying? You can go out and get one of these guys next year, but before you do all of that, if you bring Dante Moore in, right? Because let's be honest, this is a full rebuild. They tore this thing down to the fucking studs. They burnt this shit down. That's why a lot of people are saying, "Oh my God, the Jets! They didn't hardly win any games." And I'm really not really surprised of the win total. I'm more surprised at how bad they look. You know what I'm saying? We know they weren't going to win games. This is a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? This is the new regime coming in and seeing what they got and assessing shit and Muji and these guys. You know what I'm saying? Trying to see, okay, we like what Douglas did here. We don't like what he did there. You know what I'm saying? You saw what they did. They traded Sauce, like you said, traded Quinn Williams. You know what I'm saying? This is a full tear now and a rebuild essentially. But either way, you got to bring in a veteran guy, sort of like what the Giants did with, and what everyone does, what the Giants did with Dart and Russell. You know what I'm saying? You got a guy in there already, Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if I really want the Tyrod Taylor back. You know what I'm saying? But you got, that's definitely on the table. Probably Tyrod doesn't want to be here, to be honest with you. But maybe a guy like we got, Jameis Winston. You know what I'm saying? Or even a Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? That could be possible. You know what I'm saying? I know people think Russell's washed, but we saw what he did with the Cowboys. I don't think Russell's totally washed. I'll be honest with you. But that's maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, because he was talking about some bullshit. I don't know if you heard about it, but
about not retiring.
No. About how they said, like, he came out and said, he had after the Cowboy game, he had a grade 2 hamstring injury, and like nobody was talking about it, and that's why he kind of like ended up getting benched at the poor play, and you know what I mean, like kind of almost like shitting on the Giants that they didn't make it known that he was injured, which was the reason for his benching.
Yeah, it's possible.
And it's kind of like, you know what I mean, but now it's making it look like the Giants withheld information. So you know what I mean, like that's
of course to justify the Dart shit or whatever. They wanted to put Dart in there from the rip. They just couldn't do it. And I don't know. It could be true. Maybe it's bullshit. I tend to believe Russell Wilson. He's a man of God. Is Russell Wilson the Russell Wilson of 2014, 2015, 2016? No, but I still think he has some left in the tank. I think he's a good veteran guy, a stopgap guy. And, to me, I would consider him. You know what I'm saying? Got to bring a veteran guy.
Do you think he's going to want to move into the same building?
I don't know. I think he likes New York. I think him and Sierra be styling. I like Russ. A lot of people shit on Russ. I know they call him corny. I fuck with Russ, but
no. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying him as a man. Like, do you think he's really gonna like? Obviously, he's gonna leave the Giants. You think he's gonna want to go to basically the same building, just play for the other team, and then have the same scenario? Like, you play 4 games and they get benched.
What his market is. Depends. Does he want to move? Depends. Maybe Sierra got business going on in New York. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. Probably nobody wants to go to the Jets, but you never know. But like I say, guys like that, a Russell Wilson, a James Winston, a Kirk Cousins, maybe Kyler Murray could possibly be a target. Garoppolo, guys like that. Malik Willis is interesting. You know what I'm saying? I think he's another guy you take a flyer on. A Mitch Trubisky, Garner Mitchell. I mean, Mac Jones. We could just go. I mean, Mac. I don't know if the 49ers probably like Mac Jones as the backup, but we could just go on and on and on about the names. But bring a veteran guy in here if you do draft a Mendoza, right? I'm sorry, if you do draft a more. You need like what the Giants did with Dart and Russell, maybe even a little bit more. Someone who can pick up the ball in the beginning of the season. Let the guy get his sea legs under him. You know what I'm saying? Learn the playbook. Let him catch up to the playbook. Let him catch up to the speed in the NFL. Let him talk to the veteran guys. Get a little bit of game from these niggas, and then maybe you throw him in. You know what I'm saying? Don't just throw him to the wolves. We did that already. It didn't work. Jets did that already. It didn't work. In terms of the quarterback. And if you don't like him, like I said, you can go out and draft another guy. Or you don't. Or the thing is, here we go. If we don't get Dante Moore, maybe we don't even. We go down to the later rounds.
Ty Simpson.
Yeah, Ty Simpson. DJ Lagway. Julian. What's the kid from Ohio State? Oh man, Julian. Can you look that up for me? What's the quarterback from Ohio State? I'm not like the super college guy.
Yeah,
Julian DJ Lagway is nice though from Florida, but Julian the fuck is his name? Oh man, what is it? I'm getting old, man. Ohio State QB. Let me see if I can find that shit. I should have that shit handy, right? State QB. Julian Sayin. Yeah. Those are guys. Actually, those guys will probably come out next year. But my point is, Arch Manning's coming out. Maybe stay away from the QB, as rough as that will be, and you look towards next. Everyone loves Arch Manning. Whatever. You look towards next year, whatever. Either way, don't fuck up the young talent. You know what I'm saying? We talked about Sam Darnold. Here's an interesting stat with Sam Darnold, man, and it just came to mind. Like, this is how bad they fucked up Sam Darnold, man. I think he's the second quarterback since Tom Brady, rarefied air, to have 14-win seasons back to back with two different teams.
Damn. Yeah, because Brady did it with the Patriots and Buccaneers, right?
Yeah. So that's the QB. You got to figure out, like we started off the segment was, you got to bring in a DC. You got to tighten up the coaching. It starts with the coaching and the QB. You can't really advance a franchise unless you have the competent coach in place or the QB. And we're going to wrap this up because we're running out of time. But you got a lot of other choices you got to make. You got a lot of free agents on the roster. You know what I'm saying? Guys like, really one of your best offensive guys, if not the best offensive guy, with all respect due to Garrett, Breece Hall. You got guys like Elijah Vera Tucker coming off an injury who I felt very bad for last year, the way he got hurt because he's on a contract. Yeah, I like AVT. AVT is a very versatile guy. I like him on that line. I like the Jets offensive line. I really felt bad for Vera Tucker because he can move around to different positions on that line. You might be able to get him on a fly a little bit cheaper because of his injury history. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Quincy Williams, John Simpson, Andre Sisco, Tony Adams. There's a bunch of different free agents you got to make decisions on. You know what I'm saying? I think if I'm the Jets, Breece. I mean, Breece is probably the guy I got to make sure I fucking sign. You know what I'm saying? You heard at the trade deadline they're gonna move Breece. Breece is a playmaker, man. You know what I'm saying? I know Breece seems a little disgruntled from what I've heard, but to me, you gotta go get Breece. You gotta establish that run game, especially if you don't have the quarterback. And like you mentioned, Q, defense. I mean, open up the Jets roster. Okay. Wipe all the names out. Go to all the defensive positions, right? And just put your finger on one and pick one. They need everything on fucking defense. You know what I'm saying? They got massive gaps in defense. And this crazy shit is just 2-3 years ago, we were basically drooling over the Jets defense.
They were
before
number
the
2.
season, before that season started, man. And now it's pause. Now it's a total rebuild, man. You got safety is a big concern. Although I like the kid he got hurt, Malachi Moore. I think he's promising, but still, you got to go get a safety. Got some young corners that people like during the regular season. I think they've regressed. You got rid of Sauce, obviously, so corner you gotta think about. And they got some young corners that are good, but I still think you can go out and get a. You can't argue if you go pick out a dynamic corner, edge rusher, right? You know what I'm saying?
Definitely need that.
Everyone says edge rusher, like I don't want to shit on what's my man Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald. You know what I'm saying? I still think they're good guys. I think they're good players. Jermaine coming off the injury and shit takes a while to get back. And Will the year before last had a dynamic fucking year with all the sacks and everything. I think they're good guys. We don't know what we got in them. That's really for like the guys who get paid to do that, to evaluate them. I still think got some left in them. But you can't be mad if they go out and get a fucking edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're a fucking mess on defense. They allowed 468 points, the second most in franchise history, man. That doesn't sit well with me, man. So pick a fucking spot on defense. You go, interior pass rush, corner, safety, linebacker. They were terrible at stopping around. I mean, like I said, pick whatever the fuck you want. Go get the, there used to be a thing like you have needs for certain positions, right? But sometimes it's like go get the best guy on the board. Go get the guy, the dynamic. Get the best fucking talent you could possibly get. You know what I'm saying? Offense, right? You mentioned this before, Q, and this was a great point. Yeah, we like the kid of Donnie in the trade, right? You know what I'm saying? Donnie Mitchell, right? But I don't know if he's enough. He hasn't done it for a whole year. He seems promising. Got to go out and draft a fucking wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? That's being Definitely. Captain fucking obvious. Yeah. Garrett Wilson needs some help. You know what I'm saying? On the other side. You know what I mean? He was hurt, but when Garrett's in the pocket, he's that dude. You got money, you got draft capital. You're set up to do some real things. You just gotta get rid of the people who make the organization dysfunctional. I don't know that's easier fucking said than done. Muji, you got your work cut out for you, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't fire Glenn. Bring Glenn back. Glenn, calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier. And I think the Jets, I don't think they'll be good next year. I think in 2 years now, if they follow the script, they did a good job with the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? They did a really good job with the offensive line. They did a good job in moving some pieces to get draft capital back. They're like 20 or 30 million under the salary cap or whatever the fuck it is. They're in place to do some shit. You know what I'm saying? But you worried about, they get the right pieces, and then they don't know how to coach these fucking guys up. So, I don't know, man. We got a lot of things to think about, man. Jets used to be a top defense. They're no longer a top defense. 30th in scoring, 20th in yards allowed, 20th in EPA, expected points added. It's just a fucking mess. No pass rush. Can't tackle. Can't stop the run. Haven't been able to create turnovers. They don't get interceptions. They don't cause fumble. They lost Sauce Gardner. Steve Wilkes was trash. Aaron Glenn it seems overrated. They're pedestrian, man. They fucked up. You see dudes like fucking Trevor Lawrence fucking hanging fucking major fucking numbers on you. You know what I'm saying? 330 in the air, 51 on the ground. Etienne doing the fuck he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. The fish hung 34 on you. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Wright and A-Chain got fucking loose. You know what I'm saying? It's just, man, it's just crazy, man. Like, get your shit together, man. You got anything to add?
It's gonna be an interesting off season. Like April. Like the months leading up to April, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to what's gonna come out out of the combine, and then the decisions that they make, and the holes that they gotta fill, and what I mean. Pause, but let's see what happens. It's gonna be, which is crazy because usually it's like one or the other, but like there's some really key positions that need to be filled for both Jets and Giants, and they're some of the most important decisions that these franchises are gonna make.
Giants about to rebound. They say that's the most appealing job out there, and I agree. I've always said that I like, and niggas call me crazy, and I take that. Pause. I think Joe Shane deserves to come back. I know what the record says. I know how they looked and everything, But I think I like some of the moves he's made, and I think he gets the right coaching. I think that he lived and died with Brian Dable, and we'll talk about this end of the week. It looks like Joe Shane's going to come back. He's heading up the coaching search. They say the Giants is the most appealing job, and I do believe that. The pieces they have from on the defensive end, offensive side of the ball, Malik Neighbors with the advancement in science, he's probably, God willing, he comes back as Malik Neighbors. Scatterable comes back as Scatterable. Dart, we don't know what's going to happen with Thibodeau, but you guys got, my man Abdul Carter has gotten better. You know what I'm saying? You got some problems, at tight end. You got some problems at cornerback. You got some problems linebackers. You got some problems. And I don't want to get too much into that because we're going to fucking give away Thursday show. But it is an appealing job because you have your quarterback, you have receiver, you have a running back, you have some really good pieces on the defensive end, and the offensive line is better than we thought. Maybe you got to tweak it a little bit, and we'll talk about that later. But Giants and Jets, is there hope? I don't know. I'm not jumping out the window anymore. I think I'm going to take the stairs or the elevator from now on.
Yeah, word up. Yeah, and hopefully the Jets turn it around. It's time, man. I'm it's like the third or fourth time these guys is rebuilding the franchise in like fucking 20 years. Like it's gotta end sooner or later, and hopefully it's now.
Hopefully, we gotta get New York back. And Knicks, turn it around, and leave a please hit like, please hit subscribe, leave some comments down there. I like the comments we got last week. People were challenging us. Some were disrespectful, some were respectful. I only responded to the respectful guys. You know what I'm saying? Some people had some problems with our Lamar Jackson take. Again, we love Lamar Jackson. Only wish the best for him. Seems snake bitten. We're not gonna get into that what happened, but Harbaugh's fired. Hopefully they bring a guy in there. They turn that whole shit around. They got to make some moves in the secondary, in different things, pass rushings, things, so on and so forth. But thank you for leaving the comments. They, like I said, responded to the respectful ones, didn't respond to the disrespectful ones.
Yeah, right.
Just keep it smooth. We're not always gonna be right. One dude, my man said, if you guys want to be an analyst and all shit, I said, yo, we ain't analysts, brother. I ain't no fucking analyst. I am a fucking guy who likes to drink and talk sports. And that's what the fuck you get when you listen to the show. Do I say some intelligent shit every so often? Yeah. Do I say dumb shit sometimes? Yeah. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm who I am. And it is what it is. This is Drunk Sports Talk. Hey, before we get out of here, Q, you got anything else to comment on?
That's it, man. Just make sure y'all check out the merch store too. The link.
Drunk. You ain't been drunk the last few shows, by the way, guy.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not just drinking as heavy as I'm.
And I respect that. I'll hold the drunk part down.
No, yeah. Make sure make sure you check out the merch store. The links.
I'm drunk right now.
And I mean, and then that is what it is. What I mean?
Got shit like this.
Word up, yeah. Big bodega, yeah, man. You better
playing dominoes up in Washington Heights.
Get
your act
right. Get your act right. But great, another show. Yo, salute my brother. Let's, you know what I mean? Go Knicks, go Giants. And then, and then we'll root for the Jets. Hopefully y'all turn it around. Salute.
See y'all end of the week. Peace.
Peace.